complex number, and to simplify a complex number we need to multiply by the conjugate. And I did explain briefly complex earlier in earlier videos, but a complex number can be written in Cartesian form: a plus bi. A is the real part of it and b is the imaginary part, and the conjugate of a complex number can be expressed as z star, or sometimes they use z bar. That means the conjugate, and the conjugate of z in this case is equal a minus bi. Simply we change the sign of the imaginary part. Also you need to know that z times z conjugate always will give me a real number in the form of a squared plus b squared. Okay, a squared plus b squared. So if I have, for example, z is equal to 3 plus 4i, its conjugate will be a 3 minus 4i, and if I multiply a 3 plus 4i into 3 minus 4i, I don't have to fold it. Automatically you should get a squared, which is 3 squared, plus b squared, which is 4 squared, and in this case that should produce 25. So that is basically what we are going to do in our question here. So the complex number is 3 minus 5i over 8 plus 2i. The conjugate to the denominator is going to multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator, which is 8 minus 2i over 8 minus 2i. Remember now the denominator is a complex number times its conjugate, and it's always going to be real, and this is going to be a squared, which is 8 squared, plus b squared, which is 2 squared. So that is the denominator. The numerator, I have 3 minus 5i into 8 minus 2i, and I will FOIL these two to produce a complex number with real and imaginary parts. So working that out, that will give me 3 times 8, 24, minus 6i, minus 40i, plus minus times minus plus, so 5 times 2 is 10, I times I squared, over, don't forget, 64 plus 4, that is 68. Now I squared, we explained that last lesson, that is equal minus 1, so 10 times minus 1 will be minus 10, so that makes my real part 24 minus 10, that is 14, and minus 6 and minus 40, that is minus 46 I, and I'm going to separate this over 68 over 68, so we can write it as in the form of a plus b. Simplify that, that'll give me 7 over 34 minus a 23 over 34 I. Do we have an answer like that? Yes, we do, and that is, my answer is C. I will be visiting this topic in more detail when I present my Math HL videos.